The reason we're combining these two names is that when you're aware of these two qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the effect it has on you is something known as taqwa. Taqwa is being God conscious, being aware that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching you the whole time. That comes as a direct result of knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees you at all times and hears you at all times. And this is the great quality of having taqwa, being mindful, being God conscious, being always aware that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hears what you say and sees everything that you do. Now, there are many ways we can branch off when we're talking about the taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jal and knowing that your actions are monitored, but we chose one thing which is one of the most common violations and something that is a problem, in North America or in America specifically. And that is غض البصر, your gaze, what you look at. But what does that have to do with taqwa? Well, a number of things. First of all, when it comes to your eyes move very, very quickly. And they can move without your head moving. So you can be looking at the haram, nobody would know. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. So you're aware now of As-Sami and Al-Basir seeing you more so than other people seeing you. I always tell people, you can be with your wife walking through the mall or shopping center and you can be looking and she wouldn't know. Yeah, you can be walking, boom, there's one. Boom, there's another. There's one. I didn't move my head. Yeah? And if you're wearing sunglasses, Allah musta'an. You can focus, and nobody would know. And that's why the righteous people, they're conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala watching. So let's talk a little bit about lowering the gaze, because it's a problem for single brothers, but it's also a problem for married brothers. Yeah? One study says that the average male spends about 43 minutes a day looking at women. Not innocent looking. 43 minutes a day, that comes up to a year of your life staring at women. So on the day of judgment, you have to explain to Allah Azza wa Jal 1 full year of this. No blinking, hatta. Same study said women spend about 23 minutes a day staring at men. That comes up to 6 months of their lifetime staring at men, which is something you have to explain in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many of the problems for young people who are not able to get married, they're living a difficult situation. You fast, you lower your gaze, you will not even feel like you're single. It's that powerful. Fast and put good effort into lowering your gaze. But most people, they keep looking, and then of course they're going to be tense later. So lower your gaze does wonders. Husband married, but he doesn't lower his gaze. And it's not even fair. He's looking at pictures of photoshopped women, airbrushed women, and he sees the billboards, the commercials. Then he comes home to his wife. Normal woman, nothing wrong with her. But he looks at her and he thinks, why couldn't she look like the commercial? But how about you and your gut? Why don't you look like the commercial? In Surah An-Nur, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. Tell the believers, the believing men, to lower from their gaze. قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Tell the believers, يَغُضُّوا. الْغَض هو النُّقْصان. غض is to decrease of something. You can even say, فُلَان يَغُضُّ مِنْ طَرَفِ أو مِنْ قَدَرِ فُلَان. If somebody speaks lowly of someone else and lowers them in rank, that's غض. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, tell the believing men, يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. From their gaze. The min here, what does that mean? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't say, tell the believing men, يَغُضُّوا أَبْصَارَهُم, but يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. He didn't say, tell the believing men to lower their entire gaze. That would mean, without the min, it would mean you can't look at anything. Take all of your gaze, your glance, and just lower all of it. You can't look at anything. But min shows a different number of meanings, and the Mufassirin have different explanations of min. We'll look at all three of them quickly. The first said min here للتبعيض, min التبعيضية, meaning part of the glance. The majority of things you can look at are halal. But there are a few things that are haram. So that's why min. You can look, but then take the haram out of your glance. So that's what that min would mean. You can look at the halal, take the haram out. That's why only part of your gaze is supposed to be lowered, because the rest is halal. That's the first explanation. Second group of scholars said the min here is talking about the second glance. because that's the one you're responsible for. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said to Ali ibn Abi Talib, Ya Ali, لا تتبع النظرة النظرة فإن لك الأولى وليست لك الثانية. He said, Oh Ali, do not follow a glance with another glance, because the first one is for you, meaning it's not counted against you, it's free, and the second one is not. Yeah, what does that mean? I'm sitting, and when a woman is standing next to me, I don't know. When I turn, I see that it's a woman. Khalas. I didn't know that. So now the first glance indicated that there's a woman there, and it didn't count because I didn't know there was a woman there. If I then look back, now the second one counts against me because I already know there's a woman. Yeah? And you can't be smart and take one long first one because the first one is free. You can't, because by looking for a long time, you already know there's a woman there. Why are you still locked on? Yani? I want to make sure, huh? Right.
When they make one long one. You don't do it because your wife's going to find out.
So exactly. So then we're saying that the second, yeah. And by the way, sometimes you don't need the first look to tell you there's a woman coming. Yani, you're sitting and you hear her, she's on her phone. And she's wearing high heels and she's coming down the hallway, tuck, 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 and she's talking to her friend. What do you think? It's going to be a man in a beard? So you don't even need the first glance at this point. Al-Muhim, that's the second opinion. The third opinion says, min here means when you add min in the Arabic language, it shows to the slightest amount. Yani, you can say, ma indi malun. I don't have money. I don't have money, it could mean I don't have any substantial amount of money. I have some coins, some pennies, some nickels in my pocket, but that doesn't mean anything. But if you add min to it linguistically, ma indi min malin, that means I've got nothing, not even some coins in my pocket. So the third group of scholars said, not even any look at the woman. That's the third opinion. So which one do you follow? So this is obviously not my opinion. I spoke to some scholars. What do we teach people in North America? Yani, is it possible? Can you live your whole life like this, just looking down? Yeah. You have a job interview. Don't look. You think you'll get the position? If you avoid eye contact in a job interview, what do they think is happening? Allah yakrimak. If you avoid eye contact in a job interview, what do they think is going on? Yeah, they think you're a liar. You worked at that company? Yes. You really did? Yeah. Type look up, right? So here's what the scholars said, and this is a known opinion, saying if you're looking, and the looking does not involve desire or anything like that, then it's okay. Especially in a position where there's no desire. When someone has a job interview, he's worried and nervous, and even if the lady interviewing him is attractive, he doesn't care right now. So just let me get the job, then I'll look at you, right? So they're saying job interview. Can you look at the person? Yes. Your professor at school, can you look at her? Or instructor? Yes. Your waitress, can you look at your waitress? Or do you have to ask her like this about the menu? They said yes. But in any scenario, if desire starts to creep in, then you're obligated to look away. Any scenario. Your professor is young, attractive, whatever, then the class becomes a fitna for you, you look away. The waitress, you're interested in the chicken. Suddenly your interest shifted to something else, then look away and just bring me water. Right? I'll tell you something that we don't want to take long, but the scholar said anything that tuthir, that excites the man, he is to lower his gaze from it. Suppose there's a brother who's very single, very single brother, right? And the mannequin in the store bothers him. He starts looking at the mannequin. Will she marry me? He's a very single guy, right? They said if the mannequin bothers him, he is obligated to look away from the mannequin. And the scholars give other examples. We don't want to get it too crazy, but anything that causes that in the man, that he would look away. So yes, then you would look at your professor, the waitress, whatever. But if you start to look in a way that has desire and you're noticing beauty, then you're obligated, no matter what the scenario is, to look away. That's what the scholars say. And that makes life manageable. But what if someone keeps looking or pretends like he's not? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. And that's why Allah Azza wa Jalla is As-Sami' and Al-Basir. And taqwa means you're aware that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching. I'll conclude with Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, the scholar, the companion. He was asked to give a tafsir of a verse. And he gave the tafsir in a very different way. So a man came to him and asked him, what does this verse in the Quran mean? The verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَعْلَمُ خَائِنَةَ الْأَعْيُنِ وَمَا تُخْفِي الصُّدُورِ. Allah knows the treachery of the eyes and what the hearts conceal. So Ibn Abbas radiallahu anh could have given him a full-blown tafsir, but perhaps based on the person asking him and his level, he answered the question in a very different way. So he explained the ayah like this. He said that is a man. He's like saying that's like the example of a man sitting with a group of other men. Then a woman walks by. So all of them lower their gaze. They all look down. So he shows them that he also looked down. Then Ibn Abbas says, and then when they're not aware, he looks at her. There she is. See that? Fake taqwa, look down, and they don't see his head moving. So Ibn Abbas says, he shows them that he looked down. When she walks by, he looks at her, and then he continues saying, and Allah knows that in his heart, he would even wish to see her privates. That means the only real value is when we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is watching. Because we can fool the planet, we can fool everybody, but we can never trick Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's the value of taqwa. Jazakumullah khair, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increases in taqwa. Sallallahu barak ala Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.